to the 2010 version of Big South Conference Football Media Day. We appreciate all of your attendance once again and all of your participation and support of Big South Conference football. This is the 9th one of these events that we have had in the Big South Conference. But as Matt alluded to, perhaps we feel like we finally arrived. It was in March of 2001 when the Big South Conference Chief Executive Officers voted to add football as the Big South Conference's 18th sport. At Media Day prior to that inaugural season in 2002, we had but 4 teams that were going to be playing that season. And many of the questions from our friends in the media went something like this. Why start a conference with only 4 teams? When are you going to expand? Shouldn't you have postseason access in order to have a meaningful conference experience? When will you qualify for an automatic bid to the NCAA playoffs? Well, as most of you know, we always felt that beginning football in 2002 was the right thing to do for our student athletes and for our programs, even though we didn't have that automatic bid to the NCAA playoffs. We provided championship opportunities, we provided recognition opportunities for our student athletes. We were consistent in stating that we were in this for the long haul. We were also confident that in due time, the Big South would become eligible for an automatic bid and that our champion would annually participate in the NCAA championships and compete for a national championship. So if our smiles seem a little bit larger and our eyes seem a little bit brighter today, that is the reason. The Big South will receive an automatic bid this year and compete in the playoffs. And as Matt mentioned, this is a watershed moment for the Big South Conference. It's the next step of our ongoing evolution, and as I look toward this season, it's being more exciting than ever. The intensity of the competition, especially as we get towards the end of the season, is going to be something to watch, and we're excited to see the Big South teams battle for that playoff berth from the Big South Conference to the NCAA. Well, you also may recall that in previous media days, the Big South's emphasis on the development of leadership through athletics. And that continues to be our focus and the cornerstone of what we all do. There is tremendous focus nationally on college student athletes turning professional. The lucrative contracts, the pressures and consequences of that process. And as you know, not all of that focus has been positive. Well, don't get me wrong, we're very excited to hold up our student athletes that are successful and go on to play at the next level. Heck, that's part of the American dream, right? That's what we all want to achieve, is to take that next step. But I would also suggest that the American dream encompasses much more than being a professional football player. Being successful and finding happiness as a doctor, social worker, preacher, military officer are just as much a part of that dream, and maybe more. In the Big South, we strive to develop the leadership skills in our student athletes that will enable them to realize their dreams. A living example of one of our student athletes exhibiting these leadership skills is on one of our football rosters, and in fact is a preseason all-conference selection. Jordan Lancaster, senior offensive lineman from Charleston Southern, is just the 2nd Big South student athlete to be nominated for the All-State AFCA Good Works team. In addition to being an outstanding football player, Lancaster is very involved on campus and in the community. He tutors elementary school children, leads a Bible study group, volunteers at the Closing the Gap in Healthcare seminar on campus, is a volunteer youth softball coach, and works as a youth pastor intern. Hopefully somewhere in between he's going to class. Jordan Lancaster is a great example for us all, but it's only one example of the many tremendous individuals amongst our student athletes that are doing wonderful work outside the field and the classroom. In fact, we were very pleased this week to announce that a record 45% of all student athletes in the Big South achieved at least a 3.0 GPA and qualified for the Presidential Honor Roll. What a tremendous accomplishment by our student athletes. I encourage all of you to look beyond the locker room and to find the outstanding stories of leadership, achievement, and generosity by Big South student athletes. I also want to take a moment to recognize some special friends that have partnered with us in our leadership efforts and contribute greatly to the quality of our annual summer student athlete leadership conference. In fact, you may be able to see some photos of them as you look at the slideshow here from our leadership weekends over the past few years. Musco Lighting has been a tremendous supporter of our leadership efforts and of the Big South Conference, and I want to recognize them now. Dina Neely, Barry Jones, and Joe Fox. Thank you for all of your support. It's wonderful to partner with you on such a meaningful event. Over the past 9 years, we have been very fortunate to have outstanding support for the Big South and its football program from some very special corporate partners and friends. We are always grateful for their support, especially in these challenging economic times, and for taking the time to be with us at this event as well, and this year is certainly no exception. In addition to Musco Lighting, we have with us today from Carolina Green Corporation, Bob Campbell. Bob? From Camp Champs, Julie Peck, Jennifer Childs, and Will Tootin. And one of our most recent additions to our corporate partner family from Glidden Professional Paints, Mike Wicker and Chase Cuss. Thank you all for your tremendous support. And thank all of you again for your attendance today, for all of you do for our football student athletes, and for the Big South Conference. Thank you very much.